Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast. What's up?
Yo, 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 yo.
Yo, Vanilla Ice in the house. If you were at a rap name, Cam, what would your rap name be?
Oh, C-Mac.
C-Mac. That's pretty solid. Pretty solid. I was always G to the sizzle.
G
Like,
to the
so
sizzle.
picture this on a number plate: G2DSZL, just sizzling. But unfortunately, my rap career never eventuated. But we are talking today about not about rap careers. We're talking today about tightening the screws for the next, what is it, 6, 7 weeks. It's pretty psycho to think like Christmas is not even around the corner. It's like rearing its ugly head, rearing its beautiful head. Depending on how busy or quiet you are, you'll think either or. But it's super interesting. I think it's time. We did a really good podcast series on this called "Your Smile Fades in the Summer." Shout out to Blink-182, one of the greatest bands of all time, in my opinion, and I think your opinion too. Yeah, and then we did a podcast with them about that, just about like the things you can do. It's well worth a listen. Some awesome advice that's free, and you can just go and grab that. And I think it's really helpful to sort of put yourself to get organized, get ready, get disciplined, get make sure it's manufactured. But coming into now, it is November 10. This podcast will probably come out tomorrow, November 11. And it's super interesting to be like, well, how is everything going? Because I think it's just time to take stock and work everything out because it's so easy to send the wrong person to the right job. And it's so easy. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's so easy to. Let me just mute. There we go. I'm back. Just had to mute myself. I was getting double feedback or something. But it sounds crazy, but it's so easy to when you're busy. If you've got the wrong person available in your team or a subcontractor, you can send the wrong person to the right job. And you think it's the right thing to do because you're showing face at the job, but it can actually cook your relationship with your clients because that wrong person sucks, and everyone knows they suck. And I think it's just being aware of like, okay, in your comings and goings in your schedule for the like, don't let the wrong person don't send the wrong person to the right job, and don't let the wrong person lose you the right client. You are probably 3 to 5 mistakes away from losing the client. 2 to 3 mistakes, definitely not like you make 5 mistakes, you're probably gone at that point. But yeah, where does your head go to, Cam? Like, I guess it's just getting the home run and mitigating as much risk as you possibly can. But where does your head go to?
I think it goes straight to you make bad decisions when you're disorganized and really like under the pump, generally speaking. And sometimes you're just satisfying someone for the sake of satisfying them. When I say that someone, I mean a customer that you're just satisfying them. I just get send someone there when in reality you're actually not satisfying them. Yeah, you're satisfying them in the sense of someone has turned up, but it's actually not the outcome anyone really wanted at the end of the day. And that sort of also comes back to a little bit of like the communication sense of like, well, if I can't get there with the right person, I need to communicate that with them. It's like, I need someone now. And it's like, well, Robbo is the person who you need, but Robbo can't get there today. Like, what, can we move it? Can we change it? Can we come another time? Because if I don't send him, I know it's going to be not the right outcome that we're looking for. So that's where my head sort of goes to straight away around the sort of, hey, under the pump, got a million balls in the air, so to speak, and also not being able to communicate properly, or I think sometimes it's a tough conversation if you want to throw it in that category of like, you're probably used to just saying, yeah, no worries at all, where it's like, well, actually, we can't get there at this time, but we can get there at this time, and you'll end up with the people who need to be there. So in turn, then everyone has a win around it, is what you're looking for. So that's where my mind goes there first, but then also too, what I think we've all lived it and seen it, experienced or dealt it, been dealt with it, even as a consumer. If you think about it, when you've had an average experience, it could have been with a trade, or it could have been with someone at service who's giving you something, and you've had a negative experience around it through probably the wrong person in this specific case. So put yourself like how you felt about it. Like, well, that's how your customers are feeling in that particular way. I think we've all experienced either personally, or we've also experienced it in business or working when we've worked elsewhere as well. And it actually, I found sometimes it creates more work. So like if someone's not familiar or it's not the right person for the job, it can create like all these backwards and forwards phone calls because no one's across it, so they're not really getting the outcome that we're looking for. So they're probably the first things that come to mind straight off the bat there.
Yeah, so wrong person on right job. Sorry, yeah, wrong person on right job is turbo level awful. Exactly what you said then causes so many problems. So I did an electrical job on the weekend, still licensed, still got it, although my tools are notoriously disorganized, maybe more so than usual. But it was interesting because like the boys use all my tools. So I'm like looking for my hammer, my pliers. I'm like, where is everything? Had to come home from an extension speedboard, which I didn't factor into to actually needing that. Which like when you're working, I'm working out of a van usually, and I don't have a van anymore. I have a 60 series Cruiser. Shout out to Wendy. So I got a load of my tools in. It was just a job for a friend, an ex-pro bodyboarder. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's still a pro bodyboarder. Probably is, but legend human. And anyway, was doing some work at his house. He did an aircon circuit, and I was just like, it actually was interesting because I haven't been on the tools probably since roughing in my house, and before that it was probably 1996, something like that. Shout out to the Wombats, 1996, love that song. But it was interesting to see what the things that could have gone wrong on this 4 to 6 hour job. Now, when I went and looked at it, like our kids are friends, and I went and looked at it, and I was like, this is about a 4 to 6 hour job. So I did it and got a surfboard in return, which I'm frothing about, to be honest. But it was super interesting to be like, hey, got my timing on point. I was like, that's a really important thing to do. And I think if you're going to make a mistake, you'll probably make it on the small jobs, I would say. And the best clients sometimes have the small jobs. And the small jobs, a lot of times, need your best person. Now, reference this, there was a board on the boundary, and we had a subboard in the laundry. So it was an aircon circuit going about 25 meters away. So to get down through the laundry cupboard, which involved coro or ducting or whatever you want to do, fix like solid conduit, copper, not copper, but you know what I'm saying? Like just involves like taking everything out, drilling straight through. And then it was interesting because like coming up through the floor was solid conduits and sub-main conduit and a whole bunch of circuits, not all circuits, but some. So I'm like, you get a junior person on that job and they might try and come down the cupboard and then just diagonal speedball through a couple of things and then enter out. It's like it's not that far fetched. You could hit a solar conduit, you could hit some submains, you could hit a circuit, you could damage something, and then you're sort of like you're in someone's laundry. It's like it just was shocking to me, and maybe a fresh recollection and a fresh sort of like eyes on it, going, so much can go wrong for this $1,000 job or this $500 job or this $2,000 job. In the service world, when you're working in someone's finished house, you can do some damage and like pretty easily, and then that's going to cost you money. Where if you're looking on like a renovation or something that is cleared out, right? Like just you drop your ladder on the floor, you drop your drill on the floor, screwdriver. No one cares. Like it doesn't matter. But because it's all like, it might be a concrete floor, it might be someone might be getting timber floorboards later. So you can make mistakes and no one knows. But on a finished service job, when you're going into a finished commercial place or a finished resi house, you do need your best people on that. And I was just like thinking about the whole thing coming into sort of Christmas. I'm like, wow, don't just say yes and please the little people, the little 4 to 6 hour jobs. Make sure you're pleasing the right client. If that right client has that 4 to 6 hour job, make sure you're sending the right person to that. And it's just interesting. I was just so freshly like, you often hear about people when they get a staff member, oh, Joey's made 4 to 5 mistakes in a row. And if Joey's on a whole bunch of service jobs, there's a much higher percentage that something's gone wrong on those jobs than on a project. On a project, when you're roughing in, there's not much that can physically go wrong. You know what I mean? Like you make a mistake with a cable, roughed in the wrong spot. I'll move it. Like there's no damage to people or property. But on a service job, you cut a downlight hole in the wrong spot. You cut an outlet in the wrong spot. You drill a hole in the wrong spot. That's got to be patched, painted, fixed. Done by someone. So it's so interesting to refresh my memory and be like, wow, this is crazy. Like, be careful on the small jobs, because a $2,000 job with a 30% margin, you might make $600 off the job, but you can chew that $600 really, really easily just in mistake. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing that comes to mind with that sort of story that you've told there around, so it's about 4 to 6 hours on it, right? So let's just say even there's
For
no
me, 4 to 6 hours for me. So probably like 8 to 12 for a common person.
for
14 for you.
standard sparking.
Yeah.
The thing that comes to mind around it is the 4 to 6 hour window, so to speak, that you don't even have to physically damage something. So like you might not, don't have to damage the surface or might have dropped something on the floor or anything like that. It could have just been, hey, I went about this the wrong way, and the next thing you've gone from 4 to 6 hours to 6 to 8 hours. And that's just through the skill set of like how they try to do and trying to be. I find sometimes too, people try to be, I guess, too cute in a way of like, oh, I can do that, and it's like, yeah, you can do that, but like it's taking, you've added 2 hours to the job for no net gain on it all. So it's sort of like we can all be as, like, I guess, idealistical as possible to be like, hey, I want to do this and I did this, it'll look amazing, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but it's not really worth it. There's no benefit to doing it. The other thing too is that sometimes, and this is the thing I think is a little bit heartbreaking in the electrical trade, is that a lot of our best work is never seen. So what I mean by that is everything we do is pretty much covered in a way. So I think you've got to bear that in mind, is that you're not there to do an average job or anything like that, but you're there to do it in a way that complies with AS3000, complies with what you stand for as a business owner or business person or in business in that sense. And if you tick them, it always gets a pass mark for me. So I think it's really important to understand that you can lose the time by not even damaging something or doing something wrong. It can be lost through the skill set, and this is where the person for the job comes into it. And then on the flip side as well, then now if you have actually damaged something or something went wrong in the install side of it, then you've got that compound. So probably just wanted to highlight that there's two ways that it can go pear-shaped without really even trying too hard.
Yeah, it's a mistake, which percentage play is going to happen, but also wrong person cooking the job. And I was just like thinking, that could have so easily turned into a job where an inexperienced person, drilled through, hit the submains, hit the solar. That's going to then turn into a day-and-a-half job with a $400 to $800 repair from another company or from yourself or whatever. And it's just the ongoing effect then is lost trust in the client. Now the client's trying to work from their office or work from home and they can't because there's no power. And it's firstly embarrassing, it's damaging the reputation, and it's damaging to your, here's the thing as well, like, as much as you are an entity and you are the company, your company is an entity. So it's like, let's just say I want to uphold my reputation. I might be able to do that. But if my company is consistently dropping the ball through multiple ways, that company has its own reputation. So I think it's like, how many times can your company drop the ball before it's actually lost a whole chunk of trust and respect and in the community? And it's really not that many times. I would just encourage everyone, like, you got a couple of options here. Have a good to great to excellent person on every job, which is the main option. If you've got a service person, if you've got someone, you're like, just have a look at the schedule every afternoon, or have someone look at the schedule every afternoon. Is that the right person for that job? A lot of times, let's just say you were sending someone average. You go, okay, sweet. Well, I'm going to put that average person which there is a place for average in your company. I'll put that average to good person across whether running cable tray or running circuits to that rough in because they're going to be best used there. And I'll get that pretty good person across to do this 4 to 6 hour job. So I think it is making sure the carpet matches the drapes and just giving like, it just goes to show you how much money there should be in the service work because there is so much opportunity for something to go wrong. Like if you're at a renovation and you bang your ladder into the wall, the paint is coming through here, the plaster is coming through here later anyway. That wall's probably getting knocked out. Like, but if you bang your ladder into a wall or something or on a finished place, like someone's got to pay for that to be fixed. That someone is probably you. So, in the craziness, in the busyness, in the ether out there in the abyss, like we're coming into Christmas, if you're gonna say yes to the job, make sure that you can complete it well. And if you can't complete it well, maybe second guess saying yes to the job. That's where I'm sort of wrapping up.
Yeah. Give yourself the time and the headspace at this time of year to make the decisions that will impact you in the years to come. So, and what I mean by that is have the capacity to make better decisions. And if that means you got to slow down, if you got to sit down and have a coffee to go through the schedule, you got to sit down and, hey, I've got to make 20 phone calls to get some information. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to make sure you create that time. I know we've all got plenty of things going on. We're all super under the pump, but create the time so that you make the best decisions for you, but also for your team, and then also for the business, for the longevity around it all. Because great decisions consistently will help you build a fantastic business.
Yeah, and the great decisions are often found in the headspace. And the headspace might be 8 hours on that quote, or it might be 15 minutes on a schedule. Like it's not in the big items, it's in the final, like the best way to compare a decision, like a good decision or a great decision, it's kind of like sticking a big flatty in the RCBO. It's just like cracking it up a little bit. It's taking the extra time, the extra care, getting the extra tool out, the extra 5 minutes just to double check it. So check the schedule, check the tasks, check the people. And my like ultimate final sign off wrap up from the trade gods is if you've got an average person on your team, you run the risk that you could use them. So it's like, do you even want to give yourself that chance? Because at some point you'll be under the pump, you'll be just going like flying into the danger zone, Tom Cruise style, just psycho Top Gun, going super fast, and you'll be like, oh, I can get that job done. But you need to be like, well, if Jimmy was that bad, we've used Jimmy as a good example. Now we're using him as a bad example. If Jimmy was that bad, then why is he on the team? So super interesting. We'll leave that one with you guys. Look after yourself, do the schedule, get it completed, and rock and roll.
Get it done. Yeah.
Bye. That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.